grind the one that you leave dead most of the time. Are you ever going to get some levels on him at the end to have some access to those early charges if you see some big name spells in the first few levels?
Possibilities, but maybe not. But it also depends how bad the Topher would be at the end.
So let's run down the flags. So we don't have an incentivized ice cave, nor do we have incentivized ordeals. The magic shops and the permissions are not shuffled, just the spell levels. So you get all the level 1 spells right away in Corneria, which keeps things nice and simple for the runners too. The scripts, skills, and status effects of enemies are shuffled, which means any enemy could have any skill or script potentially, which makes... That's how you get Imps with Nuke. If you want Imps with Nuke, that's how you get it. And so that's what runners going to have to deal with tonight. Prices ratcheted from 25 to 400% of vanilla, and experience goal boost 4 times, enemy stats up to 220%. So not as crazy as we saw in Stage 3, but more manageable.
Well, definitely more manageable is the key.
And all the conveniences turned on as we've come to expect. So with early bridge enabled, do you think you're going to see people go for Garland right away, or are we just going to head straight for Provoca? And does that depend on if you've got like Fade at level 1, something like that?
Well, for me, for this, maybe some people will go straight to Provoca, and maybe some people will go straight to Garland in case there's maybe an early TNT on the way.
Alrighty, I'm gonna follow things on Twitch. Looks like my backup stream has failed, so I'm gonna have to watch the same stream as everyone else here.
Yeah, because I'm not... we might have some technical difficulties right now. Oh, never mind, here we go. And everyone... Oh, Broadster's at the Matoya while everyone else is at Topher. Not Topher, TOF, sorry, my bad.
There we go. Problem solved. All right. Broadster is now visiting Matoya. I apologize for that. I'm all caught up now. And he's already got the TNT. I just saw a new his item screen there. Looks like Sforzando and Brilliant are inside TOF, and they're going to take on Garland right away.
But that heal helm, though, at the TOF is a good pickup.
Yeah, the heal helm's a beauty. You get those free unlimited heals, and your fighter can equip it if you put it on him. Would have been more useful in the Seeds when you didn't have 3 white mages, but valued nonetheless. And we see our first Danned White Mage of the stream already, with Broadster leaving Warp dead in the bottom right corner. His ironically named White Mages, Nuke, Zap, and Warp, who will be casting none of those things this evening.
Also, I saw a Brilliant spell list so far. It has Cure 4 and Exit.
Brilliant is rocking the gender-bent sprites that Terralyn uploaded to ROM hacking, I believe, a long time ago. It's nice to see a modern twist on a classic. Although the White Mages were perhaps, arguably the one class could be construed as female to begin with. So we're not seeing a big difference there, but it's fun. The community is very inviting with that sort of non-game changing ROM hack. So we like to allow people to participate, express their creativity in various ways.
Oh, but the creeps have heat in their skill list, which is not good for everyone early game.
Okay, there we see the Wear Sword and the TNT were in Matoya's cave now that Sforzando has them, so that explains that. And $3,000 as well. Help get you started.
But if for those who want to buy soft potions, well, they're a little bit pricey this time around.
Nothing too fancy in the Corneria armor shop. We saw some basic weapons and armor. Wooden armor is not interesting, but we did have level 1 Cure 4 and level 1 Exit. And Wall and Heal. That's quite something. Heal, obviously, the loser in that set. But with early Exit and early Cure 4, this seed is looking juicy. Those are the kind of spells you love to see.
Yeah, but now with early TNT, what's the point of going to Marsh at this point?
Did I also see pro rings in the Corneria armor shop, or are my eyes playing tricks on me? Because maybe that is something I missed. Maybe they're just a little too expensive for this point.
No, I did saw a pro ring earlier, but I don't think it was from the Corneria. Probably got picked. No, it cannot be picked up then. Then, if that's Corneria might have to armor chop.
Yeah, it's looking nice and tasty. We'll see what we got in the Provoca White Mage shop here. Oh, that's nice. Little Harm 4. Cure 2, not too bad. I mean, you've already got Cure 4, so it's not too big a deal at this stage. But Harm 4 is going to help if you're interested in a Peninsula Power Grind or at many points throughout the game.
Or we could see that possible Earth Cave dive if needed.
And checking in on the Provoca item shop. We've got reasonably priced everything. Nothing too cheap or too expensive. And we got copper bracelets, really cheap chain, silver armor as well in the Provoca armor store. Alright, so Swando's going to take on the Pirates. Let's see what we got here. And with that many attacks, we can be fairly confident they don't have anything up their sleeves, so this may take a while, but it should be doable.
Yeah, this fight shouldn't take too long if the pirates are not packing a single thing.
If they're literally not packing heat, I don't see any problems. Even if your fighter has to do it one at a time, they're probably not going to be able to take him down with the equipment you can get by now.
Well, Frosthart's making a bold move, purchasing copper bracelet and maybe a silver armor layer in the future.
Yeah, he's grabbed copper for the white mages. It can definitely help against the pirates. We already saw Sforzando lose a white mage. On the other hand, he might be perfectly happy to leave that white mage dead, so that could even be part of his plan. Just take advantage of the pirates to help whittle down your party now.
But Zelnov's gonna have problems if that creep's still alive, because remember what I said, the creeps are packing, and never mind, he got through by them.
Yeah, the chain for like $6 or whatever it was gives you 14 absorb. The silver's only 3 more than that. And for $2,200, I don't think he's going to really bother. Copper bracelets are 4 absorb, which is passable. You're really looking for the silver or better, 14 and 24 respectively.
But here's the question I have in mind. Would you take a dive at the lazy dwarves, or will you dive at Elfland just to see if there's any silver or gold bracelets down there?
I don't think you got the cash for the silver or the gold bracelets yet, to be quite honest, so I'm not going necessarily to Elfland first. I feel like you gotta check for lazy pirates just in case, because otherwise you're gonna always wonder what they had. Is it likely that they have the TNT? Well, you don't have to worry about it because you already have the TNT, so what are we even talking about? You can just go straight to the pirates.
Pirates? You mean dwarves?
That's exactly what I mean. I mean the dwarves. And since you know you can go there, maybe you should go to Elfland first. But I don't know how much money you're going to have. So I think we're going to see some POP grinds to build up the war chest before we even bother.
Well, speaking of POP grinds, which means Power Peninsula, Mr. Sforzando is about to on his way there to do some grinding.
And it's the Peninsula of Power, not the Power of Peninsula. Now, who is correcting who?
All in fair game, man.
Yeah, it looks like a popular choice. We see Brodster heading up there as well. We'll see what Zalnop's up to. Well, we get these grinds underway, so let's talk a little bit about our various runners here. I'll go through them based on their current stats. Sforzando near the top of the standings. I believe he's already won. Well, no one's won a race yet in Stage 6. It was just one opening night. So I guess someone has indeed. But a lot of scoring to be competed for tonight. Sforzando currently in 5th place in the league with only 0.05 chaos points, looking to put up a donut or as close as he can to that tonight to really stay at the top of the pack. Brilliant had a really strong finish in the last race I watched, really emerging as someone to watch out for, can take just about any race, featured here in the bottom left corner tonight. Broadster, 9th in the league, top left corner, has a total combined score of 0.37 and won a race in Stage 5, currently a threat to win in Stage 6. And Zalnop in the top right corner has really emerged recently as someone who can take any race. So a dark horse initially who has really started to put up some great numbers in the last few stages. So excited to have him on stream as well. Give these runners a follow if you find them exciting to watch as I do. They're on a good show for your entertainment each and every time they do this, and it's always a thrill to participate.
By the way, the zombies are completely papered this time around.
Zombies are usually paper when you've got Harm 4, but the thinner the paper, the better when you're just trying to get it done.
But according to our restreamer, Zangrave, he said zombies had lit 2 though.
Lit 2 is bad, but it's not like nuke bad. It's survivable.
At least it ain't thunder bad.
Absolutely. Yeah, but at this point, just about any AoE attack can be devastating. When you're this weak, this early in the game, like you gotta be careful. You gotta be ready to reset out all the time. I mean, you're constantly pinching tents and reloading save files, so there's not too much progression to lose if you do wipe. But you can mitigate the time by just being a bit of a quick on the trigger with the reset to just try again and get an next fight. Yeah, we can see there that Zomble's just around 100 health.
And I'm surprised that one of the guys actually survived the Harm 4. Probably a low roll on the damage.
I think it was only about 98, and I think they had a shade over 100. Yeah. Sforzando's had enough of that. Looks like he's headed over to Dwarves, so let's see what we've got there. I'm not completely sure what level he's at. 6,500. Little mage staff, nothing too exciting. I guess the mage staff can be used as an attack item, which will really help with these white mages, come to think of it. Do you like how early he ducked out of his POP grind, or would you have stuck around a bit while longer, like Brilliant, Broadster, and Salmop seem to be doing?
If it was me, I'd probably stick a little bit longer, just in case, you know, Elf Fun is expensive. Can be expensive as God knows when.
Yeah, with up to 400 price scaling, it could certainly cost you. Is there a target level you have in mind, or is it a pile of gold you're looking for, or do you want to have charges of level 3 and 4, a certain number of those? What helps you make the decision?
What helps me make the decision is possibly levels, of course, because you need your charges. And, of course, an extra bit of cash could help along the way.
Alright, Sforzando's not even going to mess around with Melman or the Earth Cave. He's setting sail, and he believes he's charted a faster way to Crescent Lake by the look of it. He's going to go all the way around the bottom of the main continent instead of cutting west and sailing around the world. I personally don't know off the top of my head which way is shorter or if it makes much of a difference, but that seems to be his plan. Oh, never mind. He's just hitting up Elf Lane on the way because he didn't do it beforehand. Making me look like an idiot in the process. But I'll allow that.
Well, level 3 magic has Invis 2 and Life 2.
Well, you can't ask for much better white magic than they've got, except we don't know where Pure is yet, do we? And that's kind of the old nutcracker as far as this stage goes. And there's Fade. So, yeah, that's everything you can ask for. All of the best spells on different levels, all low enough that you're going to have piles of charges. That's what they like to see. Now the trick is, can you turn that into victory? Because everybody's got it, so everyone's going to have a very competitive party now without doing a lot of work for it.
It actually really depends on the enemies and the bosses at this rate, because who knows what either volcano or Earth will be packing, or even sea or a sky castle.
And we've got rather pricey gold bracelets, $24,000. I guess that's not too bad. They could be max, but that'll burn a hole in your pocket. We don't have that kind of change right now, so the runner's gonna have to make a mental note that Elfland's got the golds and probably come back later.
And I'm probably thinking my prediction for maybe in Crescent Lake there could be the silvers, but it could be anywhere.
Okay, and that explains the other mystery. I'm not sure if pro rings were for sale in Corneria, but there was one in the Temple of Fiends in the bottom left corner chest, so that explains why everybody has one.
But here's the question: would you rather dive to the volcano or the Earth?
Based on the routes Sforzando just took, he's definitely heading east and around to go to Crescent Lake and then presumably the volcano. I figure if he was going to head to Earth, he would have just gone, but maybe he really wants the canoe first. My hunch is still that he's planning on going volcano.
If it was me, maybe I would just dive, maybe just the first floor of Earth to see if there's anything, possibly a key item that could be hiding.
Oh yeah, the quick first 2 floors of Earth dive is all the rage lately. And with Exit, I mean, it's a piece of cake. And with all the charges of Exit you have, you don't even need to have a whole bunch of houses or anything like that. Perfectly worthwhile. Got some shade being cast on my suggestion to dive Earth. Fuchsia says friends don't let friends dive Earth. I don't know, Fuchsia. It seems to be what everybody's telling everybody to do these days. Statistically, it's not the greatest, but it's so fast to get to. You're right there when you clear the canal that it's not really on the way because it's a real route divergence to walk all the way there and walk all the way back. So I understand both plays. But when it works big.
Oh, but pro rings are expensive. 14K off the bat.
That'll cost you. If you do a little volcano grinding or a little volcano spelunking, though, you'll come back with plenty of cash for that. But between those things, which you're going to want to buy for everybody, and gold bracelets, which you really only need to buy for the white mages that you don't find a gold or an opal for. Who knows where those are right now? That could get pricey.
But Chief Elfland in though, only for 9 gold to stay for a night.
We also saw in Viz 2, I think, in Elfland. Or, yeah, it was right there with Life 2. So, I mean, I thought Volcano was tempting, but Sforzando wants none of it. He's heading back east. Maybe he's going to go to Earth. Not many other places he could. Or he could, I suppose, head to Ice or Ordeals now that he has the canoe.
Oh, but Broster decided to go straight to Marsh.
When you have Exit, the things change. Like the time it takes you to dive Marsh is massively reduced. You can do the first floor, exit, and then you can go do the other floor and exit. It's not that many chests, and they're wildly spread apart, and there's no reason to believe there's going to be anything there because it's not incentivized or anything like that. But if it works out, it's going to give you a huge advantage. So this is kind of a super risky play that's not going to cost too much, but you can bet that not a lot of people are going to do it. So if it does work, it's going to put you big time in the lead.
Well, to answer your question, man, Ordeals is being played right now. Sforzando decided to go to Ordeals.
Yeah, I like this more if you have Warp than Exit. You don't really need Exit in Ordeals because the last chest is right before the exit anyway. But with the Harm 4s that he's probably got a bunch of charges up now, he can do the old Zombie Dragon grind at the end. So maybe that's part of his plan too. Also, he's got charges of Fade to help blow his way through there. So nothing to be too worried about. You should be able to get through Ordeals with this party.
Oh, Flame Arbor off the bat for Broster.
That's a lovely find. And a couple pieces of silver gear. I think he can fully kit out his fighter if he wants to. Alright, we see Brilliant heading to Earth. He's stopping out front. Now I really have to be able to divide my attention. This is more brain power than I've used all day. Let's see what we've got here. First floor of Earth so far is a bust, 225. He just resets right out of there.
I'll keep my eye on Marsh then.
A large knife and a copper bracelet, nothing too exciting. Yeah, so right off the bat, with all the available magic for this party and the strength of the gear that you can find your fighter pretty quickly, we've already seen so many different choices in route divergences. I think it's pretty interesting because this party is a really good early game party. You've got AoE, you've got anti-undead, you've got a tank, you've got lots of healing. Like, this is a party that can take on most dungeons. Maybe not the bosses, but the dungeons themselves. So that gives you the opportunity to go just about wherever you like. And that's exactly what we're seeing, which is very cool. And Brilliant taking advantage of that mage staff to make some asps disappear. This party's only level 7, so he's still got some big time grinding to do here. Well, the first floor of Earth was like a bust of a bust. That was like the worst crap I've ever seen the first floor of Earth have, so that's unfortunate. We'll see if he tries the second floor.
Well, a ton of gold at Marsh right now, but oh, he's skipping the wizard chest. That's kind of interesting from Boster.
Yeah, does he have a charge of Fade? Because, I mean, I don't think he has to fear the wizards if he does.
I don't think he refilled his charges during... Oh, there's a katana, but that's going to be only to be sold for gold.
Yeah. Katana only equipable by a ninja. We're not going to be seeing a ninja tonight because we don't have a thief in this forced party. So that katana is just decoration.
Ooh, but Mucks have sleep touch.
We'll see how much time that sinks. Meanwhile, Sforzando has just about reached the pinnacle of ordeals. He's on the penultimate stairs here. And Zalnop finally catching up with Canoe Sage, and all of a sudden the world, such as it is, opens up to him. See where he heads. It would only be apropos for him to head to the volcano.
Well, the funny thing is, Broadster just realized that werewolves have stun touch.
Yeah, it's been pointed out in chat that Brilliant entered this dungeon a little bit too low level for the Fade charges. But he should be gaining a level or two in here, and I think he brought some houses, so maybe we'll see him bust one out later on. And it looks like Zelnup is headed to Volcano, so that's pretty much perfect. We'll see what he finds there very soon.
Meanwhile, Brilliant is actually heading for the second floor of the Dungeon of the Earth.
Yeah, and he's about to get to the treasure room. So the second floor's got a little better treasure density, but you got to scamper all the way there. And you got to fight a couple of Earths if you want the bottom room. Well, you only have to fight them once if you exit out, so that's a nice situation to be in. And Zelnup now looting Volcano. He's at the treasure trove floor, but he's got a bit of a way to go. So for a pure in Ordeals isn't going to be too exciting for Sforzando. And a heal. Oh, wow. And the $130. This is just about as bad as the first floor of Earth. Ah, but that will make it all better.
Hello, Masamune. Haven't seen you for a while.
And the Dragon Sword, you know. just to, in case the Masamune breaks. If you're worried that it's going to break, that's just a light bit of humor there. And there's no destructive weapons in Final Fantasy Randomizer. You can use the black shirt to cast Ice 2 till it's threadbare, and it will never let you down.
Well, Zelda gets got a boost of XP.
Yeah, he's going to exit out. See if he got some Life 2 charges. Does he have a tent? This is a nearly indestructible party. Like, the wheels can come off this train, but it can keep chugging. And he does have a couple houses, so you know he's going right back in. Brilliant's busting out the Invis 2 against the Earths.
The Earth seemed a little bit more tanky this time around.
With 2 casts of Invis 2, I'm guessing he knows what he's doing. Oh yeah, they're tough as nails. It's going to take a while to claw through here. So Sforzando loots Ordeals and finds just the Masamune. We knew it wasn't incentivized, and he only found the Dragon Sword in the final chest. Do you think that's worth it for the one blade? Is it going to pay back? I think the Masamune's pretty good. Sardi in chat says Masamune's worth the trip. I'm inclined to agree. We'll certainly see how it plays out for him. There are people who won't go at all just because it's not incentivized, and we know it has no plot items, so they may never find their way there, and so that'll be an advantage he carries over them the whole time.
Well, if I have access to like early fade and everything else, heck yeah, I'll take a gamble at Ordeals before I head to Volcano itself.
Alright, now Sforzando doing the straightforward thing, heading to Volcano. He just had enough dilly-dallying. I was wondering if he was going to double dilly-dally and head off to Ice, but no, he says it's time to get back on track. He's going to go to Volcano. One thing's for sure, Carrie is there, and he has to kill Carrie. So whether there's loot or not, he's confident that his party's got what it takes now. Meanwhile, Zelnop's still in Volcano, fading on the fires. It seems the Earths and Fires have both rolled to be pretty tough this seed.
Yeah, they seem a lot tankier than usual.
And that's going to cause problems for Zelnop, but I doubt it's going to cause too many problems for Sforzando now that he's wielding the legendary Masamune. So that, I guess, is going to pay off already when you think about how much time he's going to save in here alone.
But 4 Ps for Sforzando is like no laughing matter if he wants to grind.
Yeah, he's not even going to challenge it. I don't think he's got the levels. Oh, and that's a lovely sight. He can bail out of here and do other things if he wants to now.
But I wouldn't bail Volcano this early.
No, I don't think I would bail necessarily. But I would be tempted, of course, to exit after clearing out this room and save. Then do the old dive down to Carrie, grab all the chests along the way. Maybe if you wipe because Carrie is ridiculously hard, then you take the floater and go do something else. But I would stick with the plan, you're right. That's my hunch. Roster's gone back to the Peninsula of Power to grind up a bit more. Seems like it's not something I would expect. I would figure, from what I've seen lately, that you should be able to get those levels while you're taking care of business. But obviously he feels a bit differently. But this is going to cost him some time. It's sort of an out-of-the-way place to get to, and so on. So this is a time expenditure, and I don't know if it's the best EXP payoff either.
Our Hydras are bad in Volcano because right now, and there's Power Bonk.
There it is.
Our Hydras are bad because they have Mute.
In this party, Mute is bad. But you can probably run away. So there's always that. Zelnop knows the fires are pretty tough and doesn't even want to fight him for that chest, so he's going to loop around and grab the other one from the other side.
Well, girl ogres are just being a pain in the butt because they have slow.
And Sportslando takes advantage of the rare double dip, being able to not only use the power bonk, but equip it too. Oh boy, his party's high enough that he's scaring the Peds away now. That's almost inconvenient. I guess it saves him a little bit of time. I don't even know if he would have taken him on, but he's probably just trying to finish this floor off, exit out, and save it up.
But he has to deal with tanky fires, though, which is the problem.
Well, it's not a problem when you got the Mass Moon and when you somehow roll double damage on 2 of your fades. So Sforzando cruising here in the volcano must be happy with that Mass Moon pickup and his dive into ordeals. Yeah, with the first 2 floors done, he's gonna house and save and head into the depths, looking like he's gonna be able to roll through this, barring some, well, let's say random surprise. Okay, so we got Brilliant back in Cornera. Gonna stock up on cabins. I believe Broadster happens to be in exactly the same place, doing exactly the same thing. That's timing, right? You can be anywhere doing anything, and the 2 of them are in exactly the same item shop at the same time. I love that.
Yeah, but with the price of the cabins at 25 apiece, that is cheap. It can go.
Yeah, that's not even like with a mortgage or down payment. That's the price of the cabin. That's what's actually happened to the real estate market around here. I mean, everyone's going to have 2, 3, 4, 70 dwellings with prices like that. All right, looks like Zalnov has departed from the volcano. He's going to go cash in the floater. Not too keen to take on Carrie, and that's the difference the Mass Moon has already made. I don't think Sforzando is fearing anything, for better or for worse. He's got a Bane Sword now. He can bust out the Bane strats if he needs to.
Yeah, but the question is, where's Zalnov gonna go? Is he gonna go Cardi Islands, or is he gonna check what's happening at Gaia?
Well, the first bullet point in the rookie manual says, go get the rod from Sarda. Then think about what you want to do. So we'll see if he follows rule number 1 first. I like hitting up the Sardia Isles, but they're a little out of the way. I'm not sure if he's got any place else on his mind. His party's still not that high level, so he's got to be thinking someplace that's not too treacherous. Oh, nothing treacherous in the ice cave, right? No rod, though. We'll see if he manages to go to Earth and forget about it. He probably won't, because he's much better at this game than I am.
But a dive in Ice Cave, that's gonna lead to some unrunnables like these 3 wizards.
You got unrunnables, and you don't have an incentivized final chest. So, I don't like this play unless you want to, say, plan on doing an eye grind or something like that. If you're going to do the eye grind, you got to make sure you got stocked up on everything you need and so on and so forth. So we'll see if that's part of the plan or if Zalnov's really just going to rummage for chests. Of course, you could find a plot item, key item of some sort, and then I'll shut up.
Oh, but Brochers decided to dive at the Earth, which is not the best play since we saw a brilliant dive earlier.
Yeah, we know that there's nothing exciting for him down here.
And don't forget, the Cobras did something to Brilliant earlier because one of them got stoned by the Cobras.
And Brilliant's ready to go pick up his canoe. Really took his time grinding early. We'll see if that ends up paying off. Looks like he's got a bit of ground to make up against the front runners, though. But anything is possible. Things could get hard. We know that Sforzando found the Masamune and is really rolling now, so that kind of a comeback might be pretty unlikely at this stage, but it's still really early to call anything. We got a light axe in the last chest in the volcano, and now Sforzando's going to be heading to carry. Brilliant's going to go straight to the volcano. It's kind of the most obvious play after you get the canoe because it's the closest. And there's a fiend if your party ends up strong enough. So you're going to find the floater right off the bat. So that'll be a nice start.
Well, incoming carry in Forzando's side.
In the ice cave, Zelnup has found the ice sword so far. Sforzando puts a little bit of a meat shield in front of his knight just to give him one extra hit right off the bat. Doesn't want anything horrible to happen before he has time to put up defenses. You got 1,000 gold on the other side.
Oh, but Carrie's packing Paratouch.
We've got Cure 4, though. We've got charges of Cure 4, and that can actually cure paralysis. One of its hidden advantages on top of restoring to full health. And Sforzando's going to be playing pretty fast and loose with the Cure 4s. He's got tons of charges. You can be liberal, and that's it for carry anyway. So he emerges unscathed from the volcano with the orb lit.
But Shelnut just found the validation chest of 5 gold in the chest.
Hey, $5 is $5. I mean, you can grab a sandwich after you take care of the volcano. But Light Warrior's got to eat too, you know?
Oh, but one of Shelnut's white mages is turned to stone, maybe from the Frost Dragons?
I'm not sure how that happened. Doesn't look like he's going to try and run away from the Gurpeed. Not feeling the experience. That's got stun touch, but he gets away. Sforzando's got his floater. Let's see where he heads first. And that's what I like to see. He's going to go get the rod.
Ooh, and the Frost Wolves have stun touch as well. It looks like all the wolves might have stun touch at this rate.
That is not convenient. It's time to start throwing around Fade. Oh, we got a Zeus gauntlet in the Titan's tunnel. Nothing wrong with that. Really been a pile of caster items fairly early on in this stage, in this seed, excuse me. With the early Fade as well, there's just tons of AoE to go around, so you really can't complain about having all those white mages.
Well, Zelda,
Sorry about that.
Forzando found the second katana.
Well, it goes to show I wasn't too keen on the Ordeals play, except... And there it's paid off big time with the early Masamune. It's kind of a risky make-or-break move that has really made it for him so far. He's just been able to cruise past any challenges he's seen since then. as he continues to stroll through Karya. These chests are always nice to pick up after the airship because you're only going to get encounters on the actual overworld part of the islands. You can take your time, walk through here, say hello to the dragons, pick up a bunch of chests. They're never going to be incentivized, but they could still have anything you need, although they were fairly dry. The second katana, as you pointed out, is nothing but vendor trash. And after that, it's time to move on. I was going to go check the Oasis vendor. Nothing there. And now what?
It has to be lazy guy at this rate.
Oh, we got level 7 heal 3. It's not a bad spell, but you have to be promoted to learn it. And indeed, by the process of elimination, we got some lazy Gaians. We got a bottled up fairy that, when finally freed, is going to fly all the way to safety. Like 50 paces away, over in a river.
I'm guessing for Zondos, they go straight to Waterfall after this.
Well, he's got the Oxyale, but I don't think he's got the Chime. So that's the play, isn't it? He's got the rod, so he could go clear out Earth if he was feeling it. But I think, like you say, he's going to go Waterfall. Meanwhile, Brotzer's in the volcano, picking up his volcano gear. We know the floater's there. He'll be happy to find that. Zalnop's still working his way through the ice cave. This was a bit of a gamble. You got lots of unrunnables down here. But he does have the Thor hammer, which makes it a little easier. I don't think he's faced anything else too dangerous, so at least he's had a relatively safe trip through. And finally, the eye. We'll see what we got here.
Let's see what the eye is guarding this whole time.
Well, it goes down fairly easy. It's got somewhere around 300 health. We'll find out more if he chooses to grind on it. Just a pro ring, but yeah, the grind is in store. And it's not a very powerful eye. It only hit his white mage for 20-something damage last time, and then even less than that against his fighter, so I could see him sticking it out here for a while. This could be a profitable grind after all that work to get here. One of the few places, I think, in this stage to gain ground against your fellow runners is to know where to grind and how much, to identify, who are the easy trap tiles that I can really milk, am I getting good EXP for my time, that sort of thing, and when to stop and head off to the next challenge, because this is a kind of party that if you have a fully kitted out knight eventually, they're tough. They can beat the game single-handedly with far lower level than you might expect if you roll well and get lucky in TOFR. So knowing how much you need to get there is going to be the difference between winners and losers tonight, I think. Well, Zalnop continues his grind here. Chitin, what do you see as like a minimum viable party? I think you've already got the Power Bonk and the Masamune if you're Sforzando, so you've got the offensive might. How much leveling do you need before you think you could take on TOFR?
Well, if it was me, maybe dive at TOFR by level 22 or 23 at the very lowest.
You've got as many white mages as you like. We've got the crown and the cube, of course, in the waterfall cave. So that turns out nice. Nothing else there to worry about. But with exit, I mean, you have to dive down there to get the cube anyway. So finding the crown while you're there is lovely. And Sforzando's got to be on the yellow brick road now. His party's just dancing his way along.
Now the ultimate question. Will you dive to sea or you would dive to Astos?
No, he's definitely going to complete the key quest. It worked for him before to go out of the way, loot the chests, get the gear, and I think he's going to stick with it. You have to do this eventually, and you have to. It's not going to take hardly any more time to do now as it would right before going to TOFR. When you got the airship, you're just zooming around. I think he's like, give me the items. If there's something good here, it'll extend my lead even more over somebody that doesn't get it.
Speaking of Ice Cave, Brewing decided to dive at Ice Cave.
Well, he must also have the eye grind in mind. He didn't go to ordeals, so I'm sure he knows that it's not incentivized. This is just something he wanted to do because of the eye and to loot the chests, but it's a risky play. So was ordeals. It worked out, so it's easy to say it was a great idea, but it was a risky play at the time, and it just paid off big. And we know that ice won't pay off the same way as if he had gone to ordeals.
Question in chat, where will the slab be? That's a pretty quick question. So chat, really predicted where the slab will be. Will it be in C? Or will it be in somehow in the Mirage Tower?
I don't think it's going to be in the Mirage Tower, because you need it to get into the Mirage Tower. But if anyone wants to guess that, you're more than welcome. I got a hunch that it's going to be in one of these key chests, maybe in Corneria, something like that.
Okay, Zara, that is a little bit Troy for my taste. He's predicting that he's going to be at Earth, the lower floors of Earth.
Yeah, Crown-Locked Marsh is a lovely choice. There's also the possibility of a vanilla slab somewhere near the mermaids. That would be pretty likely as well, given what we've seen so far. Zalnop's still grinding the eye. That's how you do it. Find an easy grind and just grind the heck out of it, SAR style. Don't stop until you've got the levels you want.
Well, if you want my prediction, I'm saying this. It's going to be Crown-Locked Sea Shrine.
Now, what do we got in the Dwarf Ancient Treasure Trove? A heel and a cape and 17 large. The Pro Cape in particular is a sneaky good item. Doesn't offer any resistances, but it has 8 absorb and it counts as a shield, and it's one of the few shields that your mages can equip, so he's going to avail himself of that item for sure.
And we'll see what's happening at TOF, Crown Locked.
If you're wondering, is 8 absorb? What is 8 absorb? So, for your 2 white mages that are surviving, if you're lucky, you're going to find the opal bracelet. That will give you 34 absorb. If you're unlucky, you can buy gold bracelets. That'll give you 24 absorb. So between your pro ring and the pro cape that you attach as well, 8 and 8 is another 16. So if you only have a gold bracelet on, those are like 2/3 of the 24 that you're getting out of the gold bracelet and represent 2 out of 5, 40% of your total equipped absorb. If you got the opal, it's a little bit less than that, but you can't refute it either way. It's a great thing to find, even as simple as it is. And speaking of the opal bracelet,
well, it's being guarded by the gargoyles after all.
and Sforzando continues his streak of making all the right moves, ducking out to go complete the crown sequence of the crown sequence to get the Mystic Key and loot all the chests, including the TOFR ones that are trap tile guarded and are an annoying waste of time, ends up paying off big for him, and he's now got the best piece of gear he could find for one of his white mages. And it's time to say hello to Mr. Garland, who gave him some trouble earlier. And close fight. But he was able to take him down over a long, protracted, single stroke to the chest.
Wait, Forzondo didn't get the loot, or did he? And I didn't see it.
I'll have a look the next time I see him pop open his items. Yeah, he's got it. He's got the loot, but I don't see him with the warrant. I was gonna make a "Where in the World is Garland San Diego" joke, but I won't.
I would got that reference off the bat, man.
It's because we're a great team, Kyton. It's always a pleasure working with you.
And plus, Where in the World is Carmen San Diego is my favorite show, by the way.
Oh man, I make the loot and the warrant jokes all the time. Come on, people, cut us some slack up here. And while you're cutting us some slack, cut some slack as well for our restreamers this evening on Randomizer 3. We're always happy to work with them. They give us a lot of exposure, and we appreciate it. So I want to thank J.K. Allen for being our restreamer this evening, and Zangri for being our tracker. Guys on point, pays better attention than I do most of the time, so it's helpful to have you guys. We really appreciate it. And everyone, please recognize their efforts working behind the scenes tirelessly to put on this show for you.
Oh, but these sea snakes are atrocious. They have stun touch.
Man, I didn't see that coming, but it turns out the King of the Northwest Castle was Astos all along. I mean, he picked a really poor time to reveal himself before the Light Warriors of Legend. I don't know how long he was waiting there for someone to give him the crown, but he really got kind of unlucky.
Sea snakes are problematic because they have toxic.
Well, that's what happens when you keep dumping chemicals in the ocean. But nobody listens. Toxic sea snakes, so you're just going to have to avoid those.
Pre-made mud gulls on Excelnoff's side.
Yeah. We haven't seen any ribbons yet tonight, have we? So that's really the thing you want to clutch. Although I do believe Toxic might actually be Death Elemental. Chat will certainly correct me if I'm wrong. Despite the name, I believe it is in fact Death Elemental. So your pro rings will keep you protected if you manage to get some for your crew. Yeah, with a name like Toxic, you couldn't be blamed for thinking that it was Poison Elemental, but nope. No, I think it's Death. And there's the Adamant in Corneria, and for anyone that didn't dive ordeals, popping down to the Dwarves to pick up the Excalibur is something you're going to consider for sure. You have no idea where that Mass Moon is, and second best sword for a short trip out of the way, it's worth it. And with the Dragon Armor in Corneria as well, Proster's fighter is going to be laughing. Excuse me though, the Excalibur isn't going to do you any good unless you find the tail and get promoted. And no one has done that yet either.
Well, Crown key locked C-Train was a bust because that was only shown in the Opal Gauntlet.
Chat reminding me, and I'll remind everybody else, you do need to be promoted to equip both the Dragon Armor and the Excalibur, so he's not going to be in any rush to run down to the Dwarves and make that happen, because then he's just going to be staring longingly at the Excalibur. He could find the Mass Moon, for example, before he finds the tail. We know that's only going to happen if he heads to Ordeals, but he doesn't know that, so why waste the time? Sforzondo still diligently checking chests in water. Still hunting the elusive slab. It can't be far now, because there aren't many places he hasn't been. But it looks like the Sea Shrine is a tease so far with heals and small cash, heal rod. That would be okay for just about any other party composition than this one.
Question in chat, what's the scaling for this stage? I believe you want to enter that, Nitz?
Yeah, I'm going to double check because you asked. I believe the enemy scaling is up to 220% and the price scaling is up to 400%, but I'll double check. Yes, the enemy stats, probably the most interesting one, is 45 to 220, and your EXP boost is 4 times. Yeah, and since we're talking about pre-promotion weapons, the Excalibur isn't going to do you any good before promotion. Of course, the Masamoon's the best, no matter what. But the best pre-promotion sword, besides that, is the Sun Sword. Fighters can equip it, and so can red mages, but not thieves. We don't have to worry about thieves, so I'll stop talking about them, but their sword selection is pretty poor.
Looks like Mermaid Side is not showing some good signs either.
Swordslando's starting to get a little confused now. Like, where is this slab? There are many places left. I guess there's Crown-Locked Marsh, because I don't think anyone has done that yet. And it looks like we've got a host, so if you're joining us from Randomania, hope you enjoy the Final Fantasy Randomizer race we're putting on this evening. We're into the 6th stage of our inaugural Final Fantasy League. Forced party this evening is a fighter and 3 white mages, so you're going to see that everywhere. But on most of our streams, we've got at least 1 or 2 white mages dead, so the rest of the party levels up that much faster. And to recap, currently in the lead on stream, here's Sforzando in your bottom right corner. He's just entering the Sea Shrine now, for the second time, in fact, as he looks for the slab, which is the last plot item that he hasn't found yet. And then he's going to head down to the bottom and take out Kraken.
Well, it could be a Kraken side of the shrine because there's still a few chests he can check while he's going there.
Yeah, he already cleared out the side of the Sea Shrine heading up towards the mermaids, which is the lion's share of the chests, but there are still quite a few on the way to Kraken. And it's quite likely the slab's going to be in one of them, if it's not in one of the 3 crown-locked chests at the bottom of the marsh cave, which would be really inconvenient, but exactly the kind of thing we like to see here.
This I hope he caught, but whatever is down off stream, but Gerwolves have glare and he killed his fighter off.
These are the things that happen to the Light Warriors when the scripts are shuffled and the status attacks are shuffled and the spells are shuffled. You never know what's lurking where. Question in chat, have we seen the lower levels of Earth? No, I don't think so. So it's entirely possible the slab could be down there too. Thank you.
And according to chat, if you're just asking where are you seeing Earth 3? Earth 3 we have not seen yet.
Yeah, Sforzando found the Masamoon in Ordeals, and it wasn't in what would be the incentive chest. It wasn't incentivized anyway. That was a dragon sword, if I recall. But shortly before that, he picked up the Masamoon, and it has really given him a little bit of leverage in this race tonight. He's allowed that to enable him to dive deeper, faster, and just carve his way through this game. He can't turn down this Whiz Mummy fight in the Sea Shrine. There's a lot of EXP here, and it's just too tempting. With the Light Axe and with so many charges of Fade. Why say no?
Yeah, you can't say no to a 5 whiz mummies on the screen.
Yeah, they're a relatively unassuming enemy, but whiz mummies are worth a ton of XP for relative to how hard they are. So when you run into them, if you've got what it takes, I highly recommend taking them down. You might gain a level right then and there with very little work. Still looks like there's no slab, or he probably would have stopped checking chests. Oh, ghosts with Blizzard are an unwelcome sight. Oh my.
Oh, this is gonna hurt.
Oh, he got it from all three of them. This is gonna hurt. Hopefully he can get out of here. I think WM3, the most beautifully named white mage of the bunch, I love you number 3, has the life 2 charges though, so he'll be right back on his feet. And cheap Cure 4 is hardly a scratch for this party. You want an unkillable party, this is the party you want. Especially if you can get your hands on some ribbons, which nobody seems to have done yet, so that will be interesting.
Unless those ribbons could be maybe at Topher.
All 3 of them could be in Topher, that would be something. The Sea Shrine does not want to cough up the goods. Just force him to keep checking. This is perhaps the first run of bad luck that he's had so far. So far, he has almost done all the right things in all the right order, but it looks like the Sea Shrine's a total bust, and he's going to have to head to Earth. Because there's no way he's going to check those crown lock chests in Marsh until he has cleared Earth. At least, I don't think he will.
Yeah, the only chances of you going to crown locked Earth, not crown locked Earth, crown locked Marsh is like 1 in a billion chances you'll be at the bottom.
So, was it Broadster that already cleaned out the Marsh Cave earlier for us, not including the crown lock chests? And I don't think he found anything. He found some flame armor there that he was pretty excited about, but that's all we know, I believe. I don't think there's... Did he clear out the bottom floor besides the crown lock chest? That's what I can't remember.
I believe he did, because I remember he went through crazy enough to go through it.
Yeah, I think he's cleaned it out with the exception of those 3 chests at the bottom. So they could have the slab, certainly, but I don't think there's much else there besides some flame armor.
Actually, the only chest that was not cleared from Marsh is actually the wizard guarded chest. Which...
That's right. Good memory. Yeah, he shied away from that one at the time.
That could be a mistake, though, because... that could have been the slab.
Now we got Carrie top left. Broadster's ready to take on the Fiend of Fire. And we got Kraken bottom right as Sforzando takes on the Fiend of Water. And Broadster makes short work of Carrie. Just edging out with his fighter still alive. That could have been a much different battle. But he's getting out of there scot-free. See how things go and see.
And Purity just spilled it what's behind the wizard chest. It was just gold.
Artea's off stream. I'm not following him, but I don't know if he has the mystic key to check those bottom chests.
Really, Thor? You had to say that?
So Sforzando not messing around here. You're like, what is with all the invis too? Kraken has very powerful melee attacks. Invis 2 gives your entire party 40 extra evade. Enough casts of that, you're basically immune to physical attacks. You put it all together, he's playing it safe. And then casting Wall gives you a ribbon for a battle. It provides resistance to all elements, and is exactly the same as if you had a ribbon equipped. With that, his party basically now has ribbons and is unphysically hittable, and he's ready to start hacking away. And somebody called Crown Locked Marsh Cave Slab. I think that somebody was... I'm not going to unwind the chat, but that's where it is. So, excellent guess. It's always in the last place you look, because that's when you stop looking.
Oh, Forzondo's gonna be so pissed if he finds out that Earth Cave's a bust.
He used up his karma when he stumbled into ordeals and picked up the Mass Moon with 0 effort. So he deserves to hit a bump in the road and have to clean out Sea Shrine. Oh, thank you, Maya. I was nervous for a second there. And Sforzando is predictably heading to Earth because he figures, how can this slab possibly be in the 3 remaining chests in Marsh? Well, he hasn't been to Marsh, but there's more chests in Earth, so he's doing it.
No, he has been to Mars. He just didn't clear out the last 3 chests.
Oh, Bratster did. I don't think Sforzando's been to Marsh at all.
Well, Fuchsia just corrected me. God dang it.
Yeah, so did I. And we've got Zelnub cleaning out the volcano. We got the white shirt in there, and the ruby, of course. The ruby is really a decorative item in this version of the randomizer. When you find the floater first, you don't need it for anything. It's kind of a wah-wah sort of item, because it can be incentivized too. You can really waste your time looking for it. One of the things that exists in the current beta version coming up is a small edit to the Titan's tunnel, so that the map is tweaked so that the Titan blocks the intersection from the east entrance, the west entrance, and the path down to the treasure chests, so that you always need to have the ruby to access those chests. So it gives the item some purpose, and that's something that's coming in future versions of the randomizer that, strictly speaking, makes the game slightly more annoying because you can't get those chests without the ruby, but probably a little more entertaining because nobody likes finding something that does nothing.
And I love those map fixes you've done, Nitz.
I can't take credit for the map fixes. But I don't want to hype up the beta too much. It's still just a beta. Having said that, if you're interested in seeing what's there, it's available at beta.finalfantasyrandomizer.com, just like the regular Final Fantasy Randomizer is just available at finalfantasyrandomizer.com. By all means, pop in, check it out. It has a lot of new incentivization flags and map edits, and it can be a little overwhelming. So if you want to learn more about Final Fantasy Randomizer as a whole, hit us up on Discord. We'll put the links in the Twitch chat for sure. Come check us out. We're inviting an open community. We got a great new player help channel where people come and ask all kinds of questions. This game does look intimidating on the surface. It is a 30-year-old game that's been randomized and revitalized with modern conveniences, but extremely playable now. I was able to pick it up and start having fun with it within a week or two of like the first time I tried it. It reminded me of when I was a kid playing it, and it just all comes right back. It's a lot of fun. Easy to get into.
By the way, Grogers also have poison, but it's the damage type, not the stone type.
Yeah. Sforzando gets to the second floor of Earth. He's finishing clearing this place out. He's going to find, unfortunately, that there's not much here to be excited about. And we know that the slab isn't any further because it's been found off stream at the very bottom of Marsh.
Well, speaking of favorite swords, Zarya's favorite swords is in the Earth Cave, which is the Vorpal sword.
Yeah, the Final Fantasy Randomizer draws a lot of inspiration from Dungeons & Dragons, and the name of this stage, Alignment Lawful, is a reference to that as well, with the fighter and the white mage perhaps reflecting the lawful aspects of D&D more than the other classes. And the Vorpal sword plucked right out of that lore as well. Great for decapitations, and reflected with its ridiculously high critical hit chance. Now, in the actual Nintendo game, the critical hit chances are borked, so the Vorpal is nothing special. But that critical hit chance is restored to its real glory in FFR.
Meanwhile, it's double carry fights, and Zono just killed Carry right off the bat. But it's being guarded by the real boss, it's the fires.
And in this seed, a pair of fires is actually just as hard as carry. So Sforzando treading some new ground for us. We've yet to see what's on these floors of Earth and beyond. Rarely checked because the treasures are so sparse, on this floor in particular. But since he's looking for the slab, in vain, I'll point out, we get to see what he's got here. And we know it's not the slab, so maybe it will be something interesting. Could be a ribbon. Besides that, there are very few interesting things really remaining, but a ribbon would put a smile on his face even if he doesn't find the slab. Could be 3 ribbons. There could be a boat in the box, Lois.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
For those who are in the chat right now, the 2 offline races, I believe, are Artea and Alidir B-Rap, so those are the only 2 offline racers in this race, since there's only 1, 2, 3. There's only like 6 racers in this race for this stage.
Artea must have snuck in at the last second, because I was checking the contestant rundown race right before the stream started and I didn't see him, but we were a little late getting it up and running because of some technical difficulties, but the wizards behind the scenes were able to overcome those and get us up and cooking, but during that time Artea must have snuck in. And Bratster exits out after clearing out the mermaids. Doesn't find too much of what he's looking for up there, and now he's going to go dive and take on Kraken, which is one step ahead of Zalnop, who's still heading on his way up to the mermaids. Meanwhile, Sforzando, one chest at a time here, gets to the Earthlock chest right before the vampire.
We're about to see what the vampire is guarding.
First, we're about to see what the Earth is guarding. The Earth was guarding a heel helmet. I'm not sure what it's made out of, but I presume it's made out of melted down and reforged heal potions. So it's possibly just glass. You have to be very careful with it. It's almost never equipped, generally just swung around to cast the heal spell. But probably not by this party, because they got plenty of heal spells. Oh boy! We've got Stun Touch Wolves and Cracking Gerwolves. And without ribbons, that's something to worry about. Crack is appropriately Earth Elemental, and your Pro Rings aren't going to do anything against it. And what Sforzando is going to do is bust out the Life 2, and like everyone should do, just say no to Crack. Or as legendary Smash Mouth says, put away the crack before the crack puts you away. Vampire was sitting on a chest of $68 dues.
I'd rather buy a PlayStation game over that, thank you very much.
Sforzando still diligently checking chests. He doesn't know there's no slab here, but he's probably starting to get some of that dread because there's only 3 more chests left in Earth. And at this point, now, mathematically, he knows it's more likely for it to be in the Marsh Cave. if that was the vampire's life savings, he obviously had like no source of income, or like investment fees were like chewing away at his accounts, and over like the millennia he didn't even notice, but he was actually gradually losing his initial capital. And then when he finally checked it, like, oh yeah, well, you opened this account with us millennia ago and times were tough. Anyway, you got $68 left, and he closed his account.
Question in chat: who rolled the seed? Thou shall be nameless.
It was you, wasn't it?
Not me, surprisingly. It's not Typhoon seed this time around.
Oh well. Now I'm really curious. Who the heck did roll the seed? Come on, spill the beans.
Mighty Czar did, actually. This is actually he has a traces of me this time around.
Well, yeah, I guess that's some pretty trademarks RNG to get the slab crown locked in marsh, and the crown in the waterfall. I like it. I'll allow it.
Ooh, news report from Purity. Artea lost all of his white mages.
He does have a tendency of rolling the dice and playing a bit fast and loose, but he also had a horseshoe like wedged firmly up his rear end the last time I was watching him in the Sky Castle, so I wouldn't be surprised if he managed to pull it out. I mean, Purity says there's 3 ribbons in the Sky Castle, but they just about had to be, because we know that they're nowhere else. They could have, I guess, been in the Mirage Tower or Temple of Fiends, but you gotta find them somewhere. Most of Sforzano has pretty much cleared out the entire game on his way through here.
Let's hope Sforzano doesn't 100% this whole enchilada.
The way it's going, because he's gonna look for those ribbons. The only chests that he's liable not to check are after he finds enough ribbons to be satisfied. But, psychologically, you don't have any of them yet. You're going to be looking through the Sky Fortress, and then when you find one, you're going to be like, all right, maybe there's another. And you find the second one, you're like, oh man, if there's all 3 in one place, I don't want to miss it. It's just the way the brain works. Tail's got to be up there too, right? Because it can't be in TOFR.
Purity confirmed it.
No, the bonk was in fire, and I think lots of people have it. Pardon me, the volcano. I believe he's had it equipped like this whole time. I'm pretty sure everybody has it. Huh. It's possible that Sforzano doesn't. I thought it was in the rightmost chest. Oh, question from chat. What the heck is the bonk? The power bonk that we colloquially refer to it as is actually the power gauntlet, and can be used as an item to cast Saber on the person using it, which is a very powerful attack and accuracy buff, and stacks with itself. And since it can only be cast on the caster, and it's a vanilla high-level black magic spell that only a black mage or black wizard can learn, it was a spell that none of us used as children. And that's in spite of the fact it didn't even work. Most of us were afraid to even bother learning it. But the Power Gauntlet now does work in Final Fantasy Randomizer and is a very key item to equip on a melee damage dealer to allow them to cast Saber on themselves repeatedly, transforming a normal melee attacker into an absolutely death-dealing warrior that can enable even a ninja or a red mage to take down chaos with enough casts. So, a lovely item to have in the arsenal.
Speaking of Marsh Cave, Sforzano is diving.
Well, he better be. There's nowhere else. He knows it. He's got to be like, oh my god, are you kidding me? I'm sorry, I was off on a rant and we blinked and missed his taking down Lich. You may have seen it, but I was too busy listening to myself talk.
Yeah, I saw him taking that down, Lich, so it's no problem.
Selmot facing some pesky, unrunnable waters. Not vulnerable to lightning like you might expect. I believe they're actually vulnerable to ice in Final Fantasy 1. The bonk. The missing piece of the etymology is how it became known as the bonk. And sadly, I've joined this community since the term was already entered into the common vernacular, so I actually have no idea what the etymology of that is. I'm sure someone like Maya or Sar could extol on where it actually comes from. But no, I don't rightly know.
I can actually kind of fill you in on that. It's basically we usually called Power Gauntlet the Power Glove before, but Power Bonk seems more reasonable because, Power Bonk itself is like you're just bonking everything, possibly because even if you have like say a black belt with it, because you know how much ridiculous damage that can give
I
you a
see.
black belt.
It conjures up imagery of forgetting about the weapon. I'm just gonna bonk everything in my path because I'm literally unstoppable. I see, and it's an apropos name because that's exactly what happens.
Oh, there was something I didn't know from the bonk term. It was actually coined by a runner named of Drumbordist.
Alright, as Forzando approaches the depths of the marsh cave, now he's starting to be like, come on, is it really all the way in the bottom? I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. I wish I was there to see the look on his face.
I so wish we had a face cam for this one.
I mean, Crown Locked Marsh is basically the last place you check. Pretty much, period. And here he is. Love it. Finds the ice armor. Just about as good as the flame armor. Curiously, since he already had an ice shield, that, I think, made his fighter weaker. The ice sword is better than the flame sword, but the ice armor is the same as the flame armor, and it confers the same resistance as his ice shield, so he actually made his knight worse by making that swap.
Well, speaking of our streamers for our two offline racers, Artea is in go mode.
It looks like he's picked up 3 ribbons in the Sky Fortress, and he's gonna end the tail, so he's got promoted, and he's gonna get the Excalibur, I presume, to at least have the second best weapon. And there's the slab for Swordsando. He knew it pretty much had to be there. That was the last place it could have been. And now he's off to go get it translated. With the walk and the ascension through the Sky Fortress, where he will presumably be looking for ribbons, it's safe to say that Artea has a large time lead. And if he doesn't see any challenges in the Temple of Fiends, that should give him a shot to win. He's an odds-on favorite at this point. And we'll keep you posted, but let's keep our eyes and our attention on stream.
Well, it's Toga party time for Zondo because he's on his way to Lefane.
Toga, 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 Toga. I love you, John Belushi.
Is it me, or I think the waters might have some kind of stone touch type of attack? I'm not even sure.
I don't know, but something double secret probation. And that's it for my Animal House jokes for this evening. Sforzando just strolls through the jungle like Dr. Livingston. Just not even worried about the flora, the fauna, And back in the airship, lickety-split. That was something.
Well, meanwhile, Exono's gonna deal with the Kraken, but he is... Oh boy. I disagree putting the fighter at the top of the pack for Exonop against Kraken.
Oh boy, Kraken's hitting pretty hard. He's got to get those invises off as fast as he can. He looks good enough to take another hit. It might be Cure 2 time. Pardon me, Cure 4 time. Yeah, that's what he opts for. No, the Thunder's not too bad. And now I think he's going to be in okay shape if he can get off another Invis 2 or so. Another little mistake here, putting the white shirt... Well, I guess you kind of have to. There's no room on your fighter for that white shirt, but it would have been nice when you're only going to run 2 party members to have the fighter get the extra Invis 2s off right off the bat, and then switch to the power bonk. You would have had to lose a piece of gear to do that, so maybe not the right play, but worth consideration.
Well, Bane Strats attempt by Exonop.
And Sforzando has been ascending in a hurry. Does not stop at the less than, greater than chests. And he's headed straight to the sky for Castle. I'm guessing he's thinking ribbons. We don't need no stinking ribbons. Which is a bit brave, but he does have wall at level 1. So maybe he doesn't need no stinking ribbons.
Yeah, at this rate, I'm saying I say go for it. Screw the tail. Screw the ribbons. Just get out there and get rid of Tiamat once and for all.
Yeah, when you look at the meta here, it's like, boy, did he ever have a great start. And then, boy, did he ever lose a lot of time cleaning out Sea Shrine and Earth Shrine and full clearing Marsh. I mean, he's pretty much full cleared everything now and then just completely skirted the Sky Fortress. He does check the room with 4 chests. Let's see what we got here. The tail he can think about. He's got the dragon armor, I think. He did clear all the key chests, so he probably has it kicking around. And with no ribbons, that gives you resistance to fire, ice, and lightning. So, absolutely worth contemplating.
If I was in Forzondo's shoes, I'd say class change immediately after Tiamat.
Just for the dragon armor?
Yeah, because why not? Like, if you don't have a ribbon on your knight, you might as well give him the dragon armor for protection.
Yeah, the consensus is in chat too. I mean, with no ribbons, it's going to give you a couple more resistances versus just having the ice armor, which only resists fire. So, makes perfect sense. It doesn't take very long to do, especially with exit. Not sure if he's going to bother touring around for any of the magic. I think his white mages have all the best skills, so not much to gain on the wizard side of things.
Well, everyone, let's see if Mr. Warmech is going to show up on the Bridge of Destiny.
Although, without the ribbons, you could move one of the white wizards to have the white shirt equipped, because it does have resist a couple elements itself. Oh! Monsieur Warmech shows up, but he's got no time for that. Oh boy, does he ever need to get out of here now. And he does. Whew. That was a close one there for Sforzando, but like I said, this is the party that you cannot kill. As long as there's a white mage with 1 health, this party can come completely back.
Well, if you stayed in that valley, you know that's gonna be a party wipe already.
And it looks like it's tequila time, pardon me, Tiamat time, here on Sforzando's side. So let's all have a look. He's going to bump his fighter down to last place. So he's going to see a few less attacks and throw his white mages to the wolves. Or the dragon heads, as the case may be.
I agree with what Purity says that without ribbons, Tiamat could be an issue, but don't forget, he has like 3 castles of walls in his arsenal.
Yeah, he's not. He's playing fast and loose with the walls here. It's the white shirt. See, this is it. He's got the white shirt and the power bonk, I think, on his fighter. Or people keep telling me he doesn't have the power bunk, so maybe he just has the white shirt and thus he has room for it.
But Tiamat has some kind of a high absorb because the Masamune only dealt like 140 damage.
Oh, purity correcting. Now I think we're all on the same page. It's Artea that lacks the power bunk. Oh no! White Mage 1 was killed. Just in the final throes of that battle. Ah, the faithful, endearing support of White Mage 1. I'll miss you. Maybe we'll see you again in TOFR. War Mech becomes more like, whoa, mech. And he just says goodbye.
Yeah, he's class changing. There's no way you can resist a class change right now.
Ah, the rare and beautiful Saurias. Indigenous to the Cardia Islands and not many other places. We've seldom spotted, and it's actually illegal to poach them in Lefane under penalty of death. But the Lefanish police force and Ranger Scout Squadron has really been underfunded lately, so they won't notice if you do. But just bear that in mind.
Well, raise thy sword, and I shall become class changed.
Yeah, Saurias are known to be extremely shy, but when they do emerge from the wild, they will fight to the death. So it's sort of a curious kind of shyness.
I just realized that Forzondo does not have dragon armor.
It was in keylocked in Corneria, but I guess he wasn't too keen on it. Either that or he saw it and couldn't hold it, but didn't care because he didn't have the tail.
Nope, but he's going to head straight for Topher within an hour and 32 minutes coming in.
Yeah, he didn't pick up heal potions. He's got tons of white magic, though, so I get a feeling that maybe that's all he's really worried about. Or he forgot. I was reminded that he didn't check the crown chest, but I could have sworn I talked about how it was such a great play that he did. So now I don't know what's up anymore. Like, nothing is as it seems.
The only crown chest he didn't check on is Corneria.
Did he just somehow forget them? Because, like, that's the biggest horde of them all. Except for dwarves.
I think so, because that's kind of rare that he was skipped it.
Yeah, he must have just overlooked them, and I overlooked that he overlooked them. So there's just a whole sequence of overlookings, really, is what happened. Broadstairs decided to dilly-dally out to ordeals at this stage. And he's probably going to be happy what he finds here. No slab if that's what he's looking for, but the Masamune's alright. And he runs into a brick wall and resets right back to the start. So Ortondo checks the validity chest, desperately looking for a ribbon. He's not going to find one because he blew by all of them in the Sky Castle.
Now the bigger question is, would you, would you see if maybe you might want to go back to Cornelia just to pick up, because the 4 fiends in the revisit is not that friendly.
I suspect that he doesn't know that he didn't check them. Because surely if he remembered that he forgot them, which he wouldn't, because he would have gone in the first place, he would have checked them before he had gone to the Marsh Cave, right? Because you would never dive the Marsh Cave for those keylock chests if you knew you had forgotten Corneria. So he's going to be relieved when we point that out to him. If he comes and joins us after this run for a little chat.
Speaking of Saurians have poison touch.
My goodness. I'm guessing the poison that's exuding from them. They're rabid Saurias, which is probably why they have a lot more courage than they usually do. Goodness gracious, it's like everything's coming up Saurias. It's a really Sauria's sordid story. I apologize, though. That was pathetic.
Well, we have some unrunnables right now because the Earths are super tanky this round.
Unrunnable Earths on one stream, unrunnable Wizards on the other. That's the way we like it on the Final Fantasy Randomizer streams. When everything matches up all pretty. Broadstar picks up his Massa. Well, he would if he had room. He's going to have to make room for it. He chucks the Sun Sword, because who needs that piece of junk when you've got the Massa Moon? Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah. And I'm Canadian, so it's appropriate.
Let's see what Lich 2's packing.
Lich 2 was packing a 1 damage attack. I believe he was delivering the mail for him and was like his fingernail scratched him or something. And then he was destroyed. And we'll move on. Runs into a red giant and an Agama. Haven't seen a lot of the Sauria's more aggressive cousin, the Agama, so far. This stage, but that was to make up for it, as we've encountered nearly a dozen of them in as many steps. Time for carry 2.
Now Lich 2 is just saying, I'll give you a pat on the back.
Zelnup kills the vampire, goes and grabs his $68. Pays his electric bill, heads down to the bottom floors of the earth. Oh, White Mage 1 is back. Does my heart good things to see that. I'm sure White Mage 1's illustrious history won't be cut short again. Oh dear God, no. Lit 2, not again. WM1.
Well, you never know. WM1 could be the Dan.
WM1 died so that Knigget there might live. And we must all remember and acknowledge that brave sacrifice. Brave, unwilling sacrifice, but I mean, what are you going to do?
Nah, the sacrifice has done a good deed. WM1 needs to die to make the TOFR friendlier.
Some unrunnable waters. Just the thing to start off your water floor of the Temple of Fiends Revisited. We'll see how he does with the encounter table here. I know Sforzano is usually of a mind to do a hard reset before entering TOFR. I don't know if he did, but it lets you know that, say you wipe further on in the temple, you can decide whether you want a soft reset, keep the encounter table where it is, or whether you want a hard reset and put it back to where it was. If he hard resets, he's going to fight these waters in roughly the same place, probably, on his second pass through. So, if he does wipe, I presume that he would leave the encounter table where it was by just doing a soft reset and rolling the dice. That was a long and boring explanation. Oh, and a second unrunnable water fight. So this is the kind of intel you want to gather on your first pass through, just in case chaos is very tough or you die along the way.
Well, don't forget, Kraken 2 is not to be trifled with.
And Sforzando is out of TOFR and back in.
I wouldn't have done that if I was Sforzando, especially with the lead.
Well, he didn't know for sure he was in the lead. Artea is on the ice floor, I believe, the last I checked. I'm going to keep my attention here, though. But if it cost him the game, it cost him the game. He obviously didn't think his party had what it took. And he wanted to keep those levels, put them in the bank, and take another run. Temple of Fiends is a great place to grind. That could have been his plan all along. And Brilliant picks up the Opal Bracelet. It's a nice find for the Diligent that actually checked the TOFR chests. Pardon me, I guess it's just the TOF key chests. And Zalnot makes it to Lich's floor, and Broadster is almost finished clearing out the ice cave. Broadster running a pretty steady race with 3 orbs lit is actually sitting quite well in the standings here.
Yeah, and for Zondo, since he exited the TOFR, that means he has to redo both Carry and Lich.
Yeah, I think he obviously knew that going in. He must have figured they weren't too bad. They didn't cheat his way past him. So he's ready to face him again. That was a decision he resigned himself to when he reset out. So, pardon me, when he exited. He didn't reset out. I think he decided to exit to keep the levels. Or did he reset? I didn't actually catch the exact moment.
He did not reset at all. He just
Okay.
exited out.
Okay, yeah. It was he was grinding. I wasn't sure if the waters annoyed him, something like that. But no, he's definitely exited to keep the EXP, which makes perfect sense.
Speaking of Artea, he's on the Earth floor already.
Yeah, we're set up here for a pretty darn good finish. Speaking of Earth floor, Sforzando just takes care of Lich onto the fire floor.
Carry 2, round 2.
And Artea just killed Lich, from what I saw off stream, is also going to now be on the fire floor. I'm just keeping tabs on the off stream because it is so close. I don't mean to draw attention away from runners who are streaming for us tonight, but when it's this close, it's too much. I can't resist. Broadster now cleaning out Marsh, and he's gonna do the key chests. Zalnop and Brilliant all in Marsh. That's phenomenal. I mean, Final Fantasy Randomizer, what? You figure an hour and 45 minutes in, you're gonna have 3 runners who are all diving Marsh Cave with the Mystic Key to check the Marsh Cave keylock chests for the slab all at the same time. That's pretty good for your second pack to be that close together behind the leaders.
Yeah, but don't forget that we have a neck and neck in the Topher right now between Artea and Forzando.
Oh, I would never forget that. But I mean, it's pretty great to see that second train of like runners so tightly coupled in their own right, and that'll be an exciting second run of finishers too to look forward to after this initial run is here. So Sforzando has finished off Carrie. We'll be heading down to the water floor, and let's see where Artea is. Stuck in an encounter with 6 waters right now. Boy, this is close.
Well, seafood party mix on Forzando's side.
Rodster cashes in his slab. He's going to head over to Lafane. So Sforzando, as you can see, hasn't hit any waters. Has taken advantage of that encounter manipulation I was describing earlier by doing the intel, and now is facing Kraken. As is Artea. You couldn't get any closer than this.
And don't forget, Artea has ribbons. Well, Forzando doesn't.
But Sforzando's got the power bonk, and Kraken goes down. And I just saw that Artea just defeated Kraken just as this fight was beginning, so he's still a teeny bit behind. Perhaps he left because he didn't have any heals, as we can see him ripping through them now. Once he gets even further, he might save time just with the quick Cure Force. He's on to Tiamat. Artea got caught up with some nightmares. Evil mans. They've got Cure 4 for extra annoyingness.
Here comes Tiamat 2.
We're seeing Invis 2. There's your power bonk. Looks like Artea is past Tiamat and heading to Chaos. A slimmest of margins lead. Now with the fades, turning on the offensive, Tiamat is down, and Sforzando is going to be sprinting for Chaos. See if there's any more fights left on this floor. Just
Twilight Party
Pack. Strike first. Oh, unrunnable worms. That's going to set him back. That might give Artea enough daylight to finish this off. We'll see. I've just got a stream in the corner of my eye. Chaos. I've seen a few lit 2s out of him. Doesn't look like he's that dangerous. He's got to the point where he's running with his white mages for save some time, so I think it's just Chaos does have Bane, which could be a real nightmare for Sforzando if it rears its ugly head before he gets the walls up.
And Forzando's gonna go ahead to Valchaos right now, and wow. Just wow.
It doesn't get much closer than that. Artea gets it done just as Sforzando begins the battle. GG Artea in the background. Let's follow Sforzando now in his hero fight against Chaos. Now let's talk times for a second. With an hour and 49. Artea has completed with an hour 49:11 as his official SRL time. Almost an hour 50. So you've got a minute and change before you get to 0.01. It's possible Sforzando could escape with a very close to 0-0 time here, even in second place. But as the minute ticks off, it looks like we're going to get closer to 0.01 or 0.02. Just depends on how well this fight goes for Sforzando now. And it's over. So that was really close. We'll have to run the numbers here, but he may have stolen a tie for a 0-0. It's been a minute and just a little bit. It's too close for me to call at this point. We'll have to do the math, as they say. I'm not going to try and do it in my head and embarrass myself. And GG Sforzando. That one goes in the books as an hour 50:20. So a minute and 9 seconds behind Artea. It's very close. Very close finish.
But really good race overall.
An exceptionally close race end to end between the two. And we're joined now in chat by Sforzando. GG Sforzando. Just out of first, but congratulations on a great run.
I'm so upset right now.
What are you most upset about?
Warp boss wipe.
I figured it was not an accident. It was not an accident.
I meant to get down to the cure 2 and unfortunately hit the warp, and that's all she wrote.
Okay, I was wondering if you were just doing a quick level up or trying to measure where the waters were. We were speculating endlessly, but that's what it was. Just a mistake.
Total accident. I was going for the cure 2 to kind of save on potions a little bit, and it blew up in my face.
That's a pretty tough way to come in second. But you were so close, we don't even know if that's good enough for a 0-0. I think it might have edged you into 0-1.
I know it's
about a minute behind. You know it in your heart of hearts.
No, I did the math earlier.
Did you know, or did you recall checking the Corneria key-locked chests?
Oh, no, I forgot to do that. That's one I forgot.
You realized there was dragon armor in that one of the
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, well, I had opal, so it was good.
It's true that there was a dragon armor there, but I mean, it could have had the slab. So we were like, is he going to march because he just didn't know that he forgot it? And I guess that's the case. But boy, that was actually a little bit of a stroke of luck, but not compared to you fully clearing sea and fully clearing earth. That was just it was a brutal key locked slab. What can you do about that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was an amazingly close race. Good job on the early ordeals play. Was that just was it some piece of gear or equipment or spell that led you that way, or was that just a hunch?
I went out and knocked out zombies in pop, and I knew they had low hit points, and I had harm 4. So at the very least, I was hoping to get a couple of them, and then maybe see if the zombie dragons were good. And then I also picked up the fire staff along the way, and I know those would help kill the Medusas, which are good hit points or good experience.
Yeah, I was speculating that you were going to go for a zombie dragon grind with harm 4, but then you found the massa and it kind of changed the game again.
Yeah, and by the time I got to the zombie dragons, I think I was already 15, so I was kind of holding back slightly, hoping to get the tail early, just to get those spell levels on Knight, but it ended up not mattering.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen once you had the Mass Moon, could kind of tear it up. Then you had another stroke of genius doing the crown chests right away, because it yielded the opal bracelet and some other treats. But unfortunately, you missed the dragon armor in Corneria. That was extra stressful, because if the slab turned out to be there, you were the first person to check all the crown chests that we had on stream, so we didn't know if it was in there right away. Then we heard off stream that Artea found it in Marsh, so it changed the game for us just watching, but it was a bit of a nerve-wracking period.
Yeah, I still actually can't believe I forgot the Canaria chests. I think I got Temple of Fiends and I was like, oh, I'm done, and just moved on. Yeah, that's pretty lucky that I didn't get in there, but 6 chests versus the grand scheme, plus I had level 1 wall. Dragon armor was really, I was satisfied with opal armor.
Yeah, it wasn't even so much the dragon armor, that it could have had the slab. That was making me nervous. Yeah, the opal was good. I got a question for you. In the bottom of Marsh, you found the ice armor, and you chucked the flame armor and equipped it, even though you already had an ice shield on. Do you have an explanation for that one?
If I remember right, the ice armor is slightly higher absorb, like 1 point or something like that. And I figured if I wasn't going to find the tail, that was kind of my as min-maxed as I could get.
I'll give it to you if it does. I thought they were the same, and that way you actually got rid of one of your resistances. But I have to go to Games Corner to check now, because now I'm second-guessing myself. I know the ice sword is better. I thought the armors were the same.
Well, if they are, then...
Yeah, Fuchsia's mentioning they're the same. That guy's always got my back. If I say anything wrong, Fuchsia is like right there to correct me. So it's nice. I appreciate that.
Speaking of Artea, Artea is joining us right now. GG Artea.
Thank you, sir.
A narrow victory.
Sorry, Sporzando. I just heard what happened.
Nope. It was my fault. Like,
yeah, honestly, you deserve that one. My early game was freaking terrible.
He did it to himself by accidentally casting exit when he was halfway through Topher, so that gave you the minute you needed to pull ahead. What went wrong early game?
Well, ogres weren't playing very nice on the way to Matoya and Provoca, so I lost a bunch of time there. Then I took a wipe on carry. It took me 6 years just to get the ball rolling. And after that, it went fine. But I mean, when you start off that badly, you're a bit tilted, so you don't necessarily play the best that you can.
What routing led you to Marsh Cave? Because you found this slab pretty early, and I'm just curious how you found your way there.
I hadn't been there, and I had the key, so I might as well dive down to the second basement and check it out.
Just sort of figuring on the back of exit that it was worth the time.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Artea. How did you felt when you found all 3 ribbons in the same location?
Well, it's nice, but you had a level 1 wall, so I mean, don't get me wrong, ribbons are definitely a fun thing to have, but I was really shopping for a weapon or the tail, because I had the Excalibur sent around, but there's no way I was going through Temple of Fiends with a light axe.
Yeah, Wall saw a lot of action tonight. It reminded us all that in a pinch, you've got your ribbons right there, especially when you've got a pile of white pages and it's a level 1 spell. So It was fun to see that situational use of Wall emerge. It's a spell you don't see in a lot of runs, and you saw it cast after cast from Sforzando, for example, in Temple of Fiends, because he didn't have any of those ribbons that we just talked about.
Yeah, I have no idea where the ribbons were. Massa was in Ordeals, by the way, Artea.
Oh,
well, that would have been useful.
Sforzando, you definitely knew where the ribbons were because you checked literally everywhere else.
Oh, were they also in Canary Castle?
No, all 3 of them were in the air cave.
Yeah, you just missed them. You grabbed the tail from the easy room that has 4 chests in it, but scattered throughout the Sky Castle were the rest of them. All 3.
Oh, okay. Well, without warp, I didn't think they were very free, and so I kind of just skipped them for the sake of time. And yeah, like you said, level 1 wall really kind of was MVP there.
Question from chat. We saw Sforzando see a war mech and beat a hasty retreat. Did you encounter one, Artea?
Oh, unfortunately not. The experience would have been fun.
Yeah, the decision was sort of made for him when he pretty much one-shotted your fighter. That was a bit scary, wasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't know if I was going to see him or not because I hadn't quite kept up the encounter table, and unfortunately, I didn't mean to, but the front middle end of the encounter table was pretty garbage, and unfortunately, at that point, I had said I wasn't going to reset, and then accidentally reset coming out of Lafane, or power cycled coming out of Lafane, and so kind of had to deal with the encounter table in the front end.
Alright, so we see Broadster finally getting around to killing that pesky Garland. The early bridge change that I put in so long ago, I didn't think it would have this much of an impact, and it's so funny to see that routing, where people beat the entire game and then finally go back and murder that kidnapping son of a gun. So that's kind of hilarious for me as a commentator to just see that happen. Sometimes people completely forget about him, and they're like, alright, time to go kill Chaos, and they walk into Temple of Fiends and they're like, you're in the way. You just have to kill him, so that's always a laugh. First, Sforzando, if you could have done anything differently besides that accidental exit cast, would you have done anything differently, or was the rest of the routing just the way you like?
I had debated whether to go Marsh Cave or Earth Cave first. I decided Earth Cave because it contained an objective, but if I had to do it over again, I mean, I guess I would have gone Marsh. I'm definitely glad I went Marsh over Ice.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you didn't check Ice either. Ice was a pretty giant bust. I think it had a pro ring in the not incentivized chest, and I can't remember if it had anything else of value. Artea, same question. Is there anything you could have learned from this to do that you might have done differently?
Stop being so goddamn Scottish with tense. That would have solved a lot of early game issues. It's like I'm always like, just one more step, just one more. Oh crap! I just wiped.
Yeah, that's a mistake that as a new and inexperienced player I make all the time. I get so cheap about not wanting to tent and reset to skip encounters that I end up taking way too many overworld encounters. So to hear you say that you also make that mistake makes me feel a lot better about myself. Question from chat. Scottish. That's a derogatory adjective that means someone from Scotland or cheap. Although apparently there's like 5 different nationalities that mean that.
Yeah, both. Fiscally conservative. Well, let's put it that way.
That's where one tent company pays you a ton of money to like ease the restrictions on their tent manufacturing operations. Alright, sorry, I'm getting political. Alright, here we got Brilliant poking through the first floor of Mirage, which we hadn't really seen much of on stream. Sforzando just sprinted through here to save time. And it's one of the floors that's the fastest to skip if you don't care.
But Brosters is on the Temple of Fiends Revisit, dealing with the Unburnable Frostwolves and Frost Giants pack.
Yes, one of the lesser known, more annoying unrunnable packs. They don't get the recognition that the Waters get. Everyone knows and hates the Waters. But the Frost Giants and the Frost Wolves with their frosts, super annoying. Not as common with shuffled scripts, so they end up just kind of sitting there taking it. It's about a great time, now that we've got a bit of a quiet moment here. There's an upcoming Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament. Everyone is invited to join. It's still in its planning stages, but the announcements have been made. We encourage everyone to join. The precise format is still a subject of great debate. And I look forward to the end result, but the organizers are collecting lots of feedback from the previous tournament, lessons learned from this league. They want to make it as awesome as it can be, and they want you to know that signups are available. So if you are interested in participating or looking forward to watching it, the second Final Fantasy Randomizer tournament, dubbed the Spring Tournament, will be starting shortly after the league wraps up in about 6 weeks to 2 months, pardon me. And you should find out about it. There's a link to a straw poll that Sardi has posted in the chat, soliciting feedback or feed forward, perhaps, on what format that tournament should take, a Swiss system or round robin, single or double elimination. As like I said, it is still very early in the planning stages, and we want you to help us decide. All right, Sforzando, let's get some closing thoughts from you, because we might have some other people passing through in the short term.
Well, I hate the exit boss, and despite the exit boss, I came within 1 minute of beating Artea. That's a win for me.
Yeah, you did virtually nothing wrong. You played a great run, one little mistake, and it cost you. But
Not
you
so
should
little.
hold. Well, it's pretty little. You were one off on a cast. I mean, it could happen to anybody. But hold your head up high. It was a great run, and congratulations on a tight second place finish. Artea, same question.
Well, happy to have knocked out this round. I'm probably going to be joining a couple more in the future.
Yeah, unlike the last one, I see you playing a little more defense this time. This party more up your alley?
Definitely. And I can still block Minochi and Tristal, so that's probably going to happen a couple of times at least.
Minochi already won.
Well, okay, Tristal then.
Minochi won the freak show of a Midnight Madness on Monday night. There was no restream, so there's tragically no VOD for it, but just ruthless pirates, and he ended up taking it.
Right.
Yeah, but GG Sorsando. I feel bad for you because you deserve that one.
Oh no, I will tell you that. I promise you, I didn't deserve it making the exit boss mistake, but I was definitely glad to at least pull back within a minute. It's a .01. I'm pretty satisfied with that. I'll probably still play because this format's pretty fun. But yeah.
This was a pretty gimme set of Magic, and everybody that knew what they were doing put on a really great show with the choices they had available to them. I look forward to more races in this stage as well, but I'm going to warn you guys, it's not going to be probably as much of a gimme next time around, but I'm sure you're ready for that.
Well, we got Phantom on Shalnov's side. Let's see how well he does deal with it right now.
There's a ribbon. Zelnop Broadster both in Temple of Fiends are visited, but we can enjoy Brilliant taking the time to show us all the chests we missed in the Sky Castle.
Yeah, but Brosters is dealing with the water pack right now.
And GG once again to Sforzano and Artea. They've signed off. Good night, fellas. Thanks for joining us in the broadcast booth. That's an inconvenient battle. For Earth, it's going to suck some of your time away.
And Shalnov dealing with the 4-pack of Earths.
That's right. It's easy to remember, all of the elementals in this game are unrunnable, except for airs. And if you're like, well, that's not easy to remember because there's an exception, then, well, I guess you're on your own. But airs are also pretty rare.
I just realized that Broster actually is using Fog 2 strats.
And we're currently sitting at 2:08. 2 hours, 8 minutes. That's only like 18 minutes off the pace. So still very good scores to be had here as we, as Broadster and Zelnop in particular, wind their way through the Temple of Fiends visited.
But 7-pack of Sorcerers on Brosters, that's gotta hurt.
Yeah, for anyone still on stream, finishing in the next few minutes would be a score on par with their season averages. Nothing to sneeze at all, so there's a lot for them to play for here. Retain their position in the standings.
And there's still plenty of time to get this stage done anyway. There's still another week or so, I believe.
Well, this is only the second race of this stage, so we've got the rest of this week and all of next week. Still plenty more scheduled Stage 6 races.
Meanwhile, Broster's is about to hit to Master Chaos. You know what? I just realized that there is no nuclear for this round.
Not that we've seen, but we had some pretty paper bosses, so it may not be the kind of seed where you're going to see it, because you just end up defeating them ahead of time. Here we are. Chaos again.
Looks like we're packing up a super defense round for Broster.
Broadster mixing up the fog and the invis and the defense, which casts Ruse, which has the same effect as invis, just on the caster. Fog, instead of increasing your evasion, actually increases your absorb. Both spells are only effective against physical attacks. Chaos opens with a lit too, but that's just how she goes, isn't it?
And here comes more lit 2s, and they're getting higher and higher per damage.
Yeah, he's got a ribbon on his fighter, so at this point, lit 2 is the best thing he could hope for. At some point, if he's really nervous, he'll throw a Cure 4 on his fighter, but now it's time to ramp up the power bonks if he's got it and get ready, which I saw in his inventory already, so he's looks well established now to turn it around and start blasting away.
Well, interesting play, but bait through 3 white mages.
Oh, wow. I guess he only found one of the ribbons and shrewdly put it on his fighter. Doesn't look like he's got the best weapon there either. What is he swinging? Or is that Massa and it just doesn't look like it to me?
He's swinging Massa, but Slow 2 got cast off, but it missed.
Oh, I see.
Well,
Oh, there's the nuclear.
There's their nuclear.
This is turning against Broad, so we know Chaos doesn't have a ton of health, though, so hopefully, fingers crossed, he pulls this out here. Lit 2 is good. That's what he wants to see. He knows he's got a few tricks before he gets back to the good stuff.
Warmech on Brilliant side.
Unrunnable Worm for Zalnop. Not quite as interesting as the other side. Brat dodges another Bane. And he's paralyzed. That's annoying.
That could be ripped.
And he's cured!
Nice.
He's cured.
But the Soul 2 affected him.
That's going to slow him down. Slow 2 reduces your attacks. It sort of is a counter to haste. The power bonk is not ideal to counter it. He's going to have to decide how many more of these he's going to do before he's got tons of invis and fog, though. He was happy to see that attack. It's such slim damage. We know that it's over. 31 damage. Broad pulls it off with his aptly named eponymous hero. Congratulations, GG Broad. A tightly fought victory. Meanwhile, Brilliant taking on the Warmech. He's not going to run away like Sforzando. Hehehehe.
Well, that was kind of insane. That was kind of close on Broad. He was about to wipe.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say. But the only person who was wiped from history was Chaos. Official SRL time of 2:13:41, and good enough for third place tonight. A fine race from Broadster. GG.
Speaking of unrollables, 4 firepack on Zelnop's side, and Warbeck is history.
That's what we like to see. One of the things we were thinking of adding to the credits statistics is Warmex destroyed. Haven't gotten around to it yet, but I think that'd be a nice one to show at the end.
And we are joined by Brot. GG, sir.
Good game. Is my mic working?
We
Yes,
can hear.
sir.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can hear you.
Great.
And so can everyone else.
Oh no, that was probably one of the most mistake-filled rounds I've ever done. Like, oops, I cast exit twice before Fiend. So, but other than that, it was fun.
Well, you and Sforzando can commiserate about that. He exited out of Temple of Fiends Revisited about halfway through, and it cost him first place by about a minute.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it happens to anybody.
Yeah.
But how about that Chaos fight? You pulled that one out by the skin of your teeth.
Yeah, you guys, I don't know if you noticed or not, but I ditched the Mass Moon and the Excalibur in favor of the Iron Staff.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were swinging. Can you explain that?
Oh, I was just having fun. I just thought it'd be funny.
Okay. I was like, is my stream glitching out, or is... I was convinced I allowed Chitin to convince me that was the Masamune, but it was the funniest looking Masamune I'd ever seen.
Oh yeah.
So, a brave choice.
Well, it was, getting third this far past when the other two finished, like, it doesn't really matter at that point to me. I just, that's why I went and fed the Titan, or the Titan in Titan's Cave there, the Ruby, fed him. Yeah, it was just decided to have a little fun, that's all.
Might
And
have
then
been fun for
Chaos
you.
tried to ruin it by killing all my white mages off.
Yeah, Chaos wasn't having a lot of fun. But in your defense, you did get to horribly beat him to death with a stick.
Yeah.
And he even slowed you down so that you were just slowly beating him to death with a stick, which was as fun to watch as I'm sure it was to nerve-wrackingly finish off.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you're not too satisfied with your time, and we're going to see you back through the rest of the stage.
Maybe. I don't really play too much anymore. I'll try, but it is what it is. I actually thought I had him in a Lit 2 loop for a bit, but because he cast a Lit 2  3 or 4 times in a row. But
Yeah.
But yeah, so Slab Keylocked was pretty interesting.
That pretty much caught everybody. Nobody got there too quickly.
The only reason why, in my opinion, that I wouldn't have gotten it sooner was because I checked Marsh early. If I wouldn't have checked it, I would have went back there.
Yeah, we were watching you do that. You found the flame armor right off the bat, which is kind of a nice prize, but then it kind of pushed you away from going back.
So I decided to... It's really interesting because I pretty much 100% completed the game except upper air. So I did the first 2 floors, and I found a defense sword in the second room there. And then I found the tail in the 4 treasure chest really close to the warp. But I didn't find 1 ribbon.
They were all up there in the Sky Castle. You must have just missed them.
Yeah, I must have, because like I said, I checked everywhere except the 3 floors in air minus where the tail was.
Yeah, the tail was in the 4 chest room, right? I think Sforzando did the same thing. One of the ribbons was in the right room that you have to zigzag over to, and another one was in the upwards room that you had to zigzag to. And I think that, they were right there. And I think one of them was the floor below that in maybe the top right corner or something. I don't remember precisely, but yeah, they were all up there to be found. But with level 1 wall, Sforzando ended up missing them all and beat the game without them just by casting wall a bunch of times. So
level
that
1
option was there, yeah.
I think the seed was actually amazing because exit and cure 4 and wall all on the first level. It made you load up your spells, but they were cost a certain way where you couldn't get them all right away. So it could cause you to have, for example, one of my white mages had exit in the first slot, which caused me that warp. So it had some interesting twist to it if you're not careful, right?
Yeah. Buying the spell order purchasing is one of those sneaky things because there's no way to undo it. It's just once you buy it first, you're like, oh, well, that's going to be there for the whole game.
Yeah.
So-
99% of the time, it's not a factor. Like, I could have eggs in the first slot, no problem. But it was just happened to be that sequence where 2 of my white mages had cure 4 in the first slot, and 1 had it in the second. So, yeah. But that wouldn't have mattered. Like, even if I would have warped out of both, I would have still lost by quite a bit. So,
And we see Kraken actually had nuke. Chitin was like wondering where the heck it was. There you go. Kraken with nuke.
Kraken?
I think, Kraken 2. I think Kraken 2 was soft enough that most people managed to take him down before we got the nuke off.
That was one of the funnier fights for sure. I fogged 2 my whole party, like getting ready for like this big hit, and then I hit him once or hurt her once, and she just folds.
I think Kraken's a dude, but I'm not sure anymore. Carrie, definitely a woman. Tiamat, not sure. I hear both. He and her thrown around. I don't know, man. I don't know anymore.
Gender neutral.
There you go. It.
They.
Well, speak of the devil, guys. Iron Gold did show up on Exalnop, but Exalnop killed it.
It's pesky iron golems. Nobody likes them. Alright, let's see what Tiamat 2 has in store for Zelnup.
Alright, well, thanks guys for commentating tonight, and I'm not sure who the tracker was, but thanks to them as well.
Zangief, who meticulously documented your journeys everywhere and your collection of every item.
Perfect. Alright, guys. Have a good one. Thanks again, everyone watching as well. And someone shoot the link to the Discord in the chat, please. That would be great. Same spiel that I always say. If you want to join, feel free. Everyone's super nice. If you have any questions, everyone's more than happy to help you. And yeah.
Well, thanks, Broad Sir. GG, and good night.
Take care, guys.
Well, speaking of on their way to chaos, it's almost about to make its way there right now.
They're the evil mans with Cure 4. Gotta watch out for them.
Nightmares with Stinger. Not gonna be effective.
Gigantic Frost Wolf and Frost Giant battle. Unpleasantly unrunnable. It's like gum that sticks to your shoe. You just can't leave these guys behind.
Isn't the Nightmare and Evil Man pack runnable? Oh yeah, it is. Never mind. Donald just answered my question.
Yeah, they were too busy casting Cure 4 on themselves. It was just hard to get away. Zal just like tripping over encounter after encounter in the final dungeon. I don't know what all these enemies were doing hiding behind Tiamat 2, but they're like, if they get past Tiamat 2, we'll get them then. And then the dreaded nothing here, which will hopefully be tabulated and shown in the final credits.
I think Zalnoff did a goof.
Oh no. Oh no. What is it tonight with the exits? Zal, no. Well, that's a sad panda. Apparently the hardest boss tonight was the exit boss.
I bet example I'm meant to do is like Cure 4.
Seems to be hanging his head in shame. There's no way out is right. It says it right in the flavor text, but there's no way out. Well, let's pour one out for Zalnop's journey into the Temple of Fiends Revisited. And let's turn our attention to Brilliant. Taking on some Gurmedusas.
Oh, never mind. Oh no, he did exit.
We got a feature request. I think somebody wants if you press B after pressing exit for it to not actually cast exit. And I'll see what I can do, Zara. I'll see what I can do. That's probably possible. I don't know. You say fix. I'm pretty sure that's working as Nasir intended. But maybe we can hack it up so that it doesn't cast it if you press B after opening it up. I think that'll that patch will probably garner a lot of support. So maybe I can make some friends by figuring out how to do that. I have no idea if it's easy yet, but I'm willing to promise that I will do it. I just didn't say when.
He also wants warp to be fixed. I'm like, warp is not bad compared to exit.
No, warp is not bad compared to exit. Casting exit causes you to hang your head in shame and disgust and join the group of people for the I exited out by accident support club, which now has 3 members. Sforzando, no.
Well, speaking of undead packs, we got zombie D's on Zalnops now.
A lot of people want us to borrow some of the brilliantly engineered user experience from Windows Vista, but
I refuse. I refuse to go to that treatment.
I think if you cast exit, it should just crash your computer if you didn't mean to do it. So at least that way you can have some dignity. I didn't exit. My controller's broken.
Well, there is 3 racers remaining because one of the offline racers, which is LG Brap, we haven't heard nothing from the offline racer at all yet.
Ali G appears to be checking the room with the tail in it, about to take down Tiamat. I think we'll follow Brilliant here up to his run to Chaos.
Well, it's Brilliant versus Carry round 2.
We got Carry 2, we got Lich 2. We got not much to fear from either of those two. Zelnop found the strength to carry on and take another run at it, which is good. It would have been pretty easy to give up at that point. Be like, forget this. I hate this game. But no. Found the resolve to get back in there, which I respect, because I usually lack that resolve. But to be honest, most of the playing I do is playtesting, so it's easy for me to walk away. There's nothing at stake. Zalnok's got a chaos point to work on.
Well, at least it's not ending up in a draw like my last race in another game. And I believe Zalop and Brilliant are neck and neck right now.
Yep, this is a good time for us to plug our restreamer. Sticking with us through thick and thin. We appreciate the extended coverage this evening. We're going to stick around with Zalop and Brilliant. They're both halfway through TOFR, and we'd love to give them a chance to finish on stream. If things go sideways for them again, we'll probably call it at that point. But as long as everything stays on the up and up, let's keep cheering them on. It's curious, the Brilliant is almost in exactly the same place in the encounter table that I think we saw Sforzando on before he hit the exit boss. Getting that second water fight and another one just a few steps later. It looks familiar. I could be off because I'm not that great at counting these things, but I bet somebody that was could tell you exactly where they were. Zelnup, unfortunately, with another unrunnable water fight. One of the biggest routing tricks to master is memorizing whereabouts the encounter table lines up specifically for the water floor of Temple of Fiends Revisited. It is your biggest chance to run into these unrunnable waters and lose time, and if you can use the knowledge you build up during the run, which is a technique that takes a while to learn all of and keep in your head to truly master, you can shave minutes off your time by not having to fight these pesky guys over and over and over again.
Oh, but Brilliant's about to hit the Kraken 2, but we know what Kraken 2 is packing, though. A lot of heat. Nitz, who do you give an edge to between Zelnup and Brilliant?
The parties look pretty similar when you break it down. Brilliant already at Kraken is just a slight edge there, and that might be all we need here, so we shall see. Brilliant's got the cool female sprites. Zalnop's got the cool modern battlefield. Since I worked on the modern battlefield, I'm going to have to give it the edge, but that's purely subjective. At this point, it's really hard to say.
Well, I looked at both player screens, and the Zelnup's party is at level 30s, if you haven't noticed.
And Brilliant seemed to slow down a bit here on this Kraken. You can see how patient, how careful and meticulous he is with that Cure 4. Once bitten, twice shy, big time, so this is the kind of thing where if you accidentally cast exit again, you like whip the controller across the room. Doesn't matter if you're a kid or a grown man or woman, that controller is getting whipped somewhere, I promise you.
And Brilliant got done with Kraken too. He's about to go ahead about Tiamat next.
Discretion being the better part of valor. I'm going to put one of those meat shields in the way so that the fighter doesn't take quite as many hits. Zelnop's busting out the Bane strats. Woo! Luna took a beating. Pretty much got one-shotted. Bane doesn't do the job. But, whatever sword that was, Taz. Didn't look like Massa, but my eyes have been playing tricks on me all night.
Especially with the iron stuff. That confused me too.
Looks like it's the defense. Unless I misread the equipment there. I mean, we got iron staff strats tonight. How am I supposed to keep track of these things? Well, Tiamat says no thank you to that white mage.
And Brilliant is done with Tiamat too, and he's on his way to battle with Chaos. In most of this party is like level 20 at the higher 20s.
Yeah, Zelnop's still laying on the Invis 2s here. Even with just 2 party members, there's not much to be afraid of. You've got your physical defense laid down. You've got a white mage that has Cure 4, lots of health. Take it one swing at a time now. And I believe he already defeated Tiamat, didn't he? So he knows it's not too bad.
And Brilliant in 2 hours and 35 minutes is battling Chaos.
A little more Bane strats, still not getting the job done. No reason to expect it to. It's only got a 1% chance of working, give or take, against Tiamat. 3 out of 256 or so. And those 5 hits for 1,000 damage take care of it.
Now it's anyone's game right now because both of them are going to be on Chaos.
Yeah, we'll see. Zelnop hasn't seen Chaos yet. He got all the way here before hitting the exit wall. So at this point, after all this care has been taken, you have to be conservative. There's no reason to think that just because the previous bosses rolled easy that Chaos will, but we know Chaos isn't going to be too much of a threat. But that's not the way it's going to be approached by Zelnop. And a nice blanket of Invis 2 to keep you warm. Between the 3 of them, that's an extra 120 evade for everybody, so that gets you most of the way to being immune to physical attacks. You could layer on a couple more to truly have that peace of mind. And he's switching over to heal and maybe offensive magic, yeah, a little fade in there. And with that, Brilliant on the other side has taken down Chaos.
With an SRL time of 2 hours and 37 minutes and 22 seconds.
And we're just going to follow along with Zelnop for the very end here. Well, we watched Zelnop polish her off. Chitin, any final thoughts from you this evening?
Well, this seed was the exit boss was actually the secret boss the whole time of this whole seed.
It turned out that the spell we were hyping up as being such a convenience early cost so many runners so much time down the line. It's funny. And even though there were no black mages or red mages, there were so many black magic casting items found early, you barely even noticed their absence. A lot of great white magic was available at very low levels, which really greased the wheels and allowed people to be pretty tough through the first part of the game. And then, since the Fiends and Fiends Revisited were not too bad, we saw some pretty quick times from our winners. I look forward to the next race in the stage, and I encourage everyone to join. Once again, in our Discord, you'll find links to, in the Twitch chat, you'll find links to Discord. Come join us, check it out. We got a great community. We'd love to have you participate. And that'll do it. Zalnop takes down Chaos at a time of 2:39:06. GG Zalnop. Once again, I'd like to plug our restreamer Randomania 3 this evening. They have tons of great content on all the time. Thanks to JK Allen, our restreamer, for getting that done for us tonight. And Zangrief on the tracker, phenomenal job. He watches 4 games, and I can barely follow one at a time. Amazing people behind the scenes that bring these productions to you. For everyone in the Final Fantasy Randomizer community, thanks a lot for watching and tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Good night, everybody.